Hey guys, Jay here, and today we'll be taking a look at Studio Series 102 Optimus Prime. This figure had a ton of hype for it building up to its release, and none of that hype was lost on me. I was going to every Target within 100 miles of my house and looking for this figure to no avail, only to find it a few days later at the Target closest to my house. So of course I picked it up. For all the hype and excitement of this figure, it just fell flat for me, and I just want to tell you guys why. So let's take a look at Studio Series 102 Optimus Prime. Before I get into my gripes with this figure, I just have to say that it looks amazing. All of the sculpting on it, all of the plastic chosen, everything just really pops. There's so much paint everywhere, and it just really works together to make this figure really stand out, and it just looks so much better as a movie-accurate G1 style Optimus Prime compared to the Studio Series Bumblebee Optimus. And this figure just demands your attention. It looks so good. There's nothing I can complain about on the looks department. And all of my problems don't stem from the looks, they stem from, well, the posability mainly. So let's get into that. Starting off, his head is on a ball joint and can move side to side. Tilt, look up, and not really that much down. That's all good, all well and good. Much better than the mainline Optimus, actually. But these shoulders. These are trigger-happy or hot rod shoulders, whichever you want to call them. And they go up, and they have a rotation, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Most joints have this, but this is so limiting compared to a regular joint. The mainline Optimus doesn't have this. The Studio Series Bumblebee Optimus doesn't have these, and Earthrise Optimus doesn't have these. And just, I love all of those figures, and they don't have this joint, which is really the number one reason that I dislike this Optimus. It's so limiting. His shoulder jams into his head, blocking him if he wants to do like a shooting pose. He can only rotate this way. He can't, if you want him to poke out, he has to fight with it over his chest, and if it's up here, you can't really rotate it, and I find these shoulders very limiting and just a really big disappointment because, like I said, there are so many other Optimus Primes that don't have these shoulders, and I don't know if this was even necessary for the transformation. If they just wanted it to be different, then that's fine, but it's a huge detriment to this figure that he has these shoulders. But moving down, he does have double jointed elbows, 2 joints to create that, which is very nice, and he does have an ab crunch, which I really like. He can crunch his abs. Sit down from his abs. Weird, I can't do that. And then we get to the legs, which shouldn't be like this. They should not be the way they are. The way that the joints are placed, the joint is right here, so he can kick out really far, but it starts to look kind of weird from the side. And it's just, the joint being positioned where it is, he can't go back at all, hardly. This is as far as he goes back. This is as far, slightly over, just completely straight, that's it. And it blows me away. This isn't a transformation joint. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need to be like this. He could just have a normal leg. Why did they do this? Anyways, going down to the knee, it is just a little above a 90 of a knee, which is nice. And the feet are fine. They're okay. They have a ball joint, and they have a pivot to the side. Ball joint isn't really doing as much compared to the mainline Optimus, where his ankle just goes everywhere in a good way. Really lets you move it around. And it's just this... The posability is just such a detriment to this, and honestly, with other figures that I wasn't as excited for, I'd probably just let all of this posability stuff slide. It's just that I was so excited for this figure before it came out, just to see the posability be like this, and it's really disappointing. It's just a huge disappointment. Taking a quick look at Optimus's accessories, he does come with 2, one being his wrist-mounted sword and his hand flip-out gun. Taking a look first at his sword, we can just bring his arm up here. There's a small peg there that this goes into, and this does look pretty good. I really like the sword, actually. It's probably one of my favorite accessory of his. And if you don't like it on the wrist like this for some reason, you can also put it into his hand like a normal sword, or give it to any other figure. And if you don't like it either of the other 2 ways, you can put it right here on the wrist for some reason, if you want it to be shorter and stick out of his arm more. And if you really don't want it anywhere, you can just peg it onto his back right there to store it. Or you can just throw it away if you don't like the sword at all. His other accessory being his hand flip-out gun. To flip out his hand flip-out gun, all you gotta do is put his hand away like that, exposing this peg, and then put the gun on the end like that. And I think this is a cool idea on paper to give Optimus a hand flip-out gun in the movie, but I think that this representation of it is just small. It just looks really, it looks like the same size of his hand, and it just doesn't look like menacing or threatening or anything. And another thing about this blaster is that they made it 5mm compatible, or blast effect compatible here. It's a 5mm port, except that I don't have a single blast effect that can like fit in here that I know of. I mean, there's one that I know of, but a lot of the ones I have can't because of this little tab the design dictates it have. But like all of the blast effects that I'd want to put in, I can't. I can put in this one though from Cyberverse RC if I want to give him a kind of a lightsaber. It just doesn't look that good. I just don't know why they would make it 5mm, like a 5mm port there, make it blast effect compatible, and then it just isn't because of the design of it, and I don't know, it's just confusing. For a quick size comparison, here's Optimus next to X-Men Crossover Ultimate X-Pants and Limited Edition Black Adam Zoa Tropical Punch. Just speeding through the transformation, it really isn't anything special compared to other Optimus figures. It does some cool things with the arms. The way the kibble folds away is really nice, and the way the Autobot logo on the arms flip down is really cool. But besides that, this transformation is pretty basic, pretty classic Optimus stuff. You got the waist spin, you got the legs becoming the wheels, and yeah. So here is Optimus totally transformed into his truck mode, and this is a pretty good looking truck mode from this specific angle right here. Maybe this angle too. It's pretty good there. But once you start to come around this way, it completely falls apart. I have no idea what they were thinking with this. This looks absolutely horrible, and I really, really hate the back of this truck mode. It just looks so ugly and unsightly, and I don't understand why. Like, all of these bits everywhere, it just looks so not right, and the hollowness here, the fact that the feet come off the back, there's no 5mm port to put a trailer. Like, for the rest of the truck here to look so good, and the back to just look so bad, it's just surprising. It's shocking. Due to me thinking this truck mode is so unsightly, there is a thing I like to do with it that doesn't look much better, but I like it more. It's just unpegging these, straightening them, and then bringing them back here. You kind of get a little hollowness here, but that is, in that, it looks like this. And honestly, if you know, why not have a semi with a huge spoiler on it? I think it looks just a little cleaner than the actual way it's supposed to look, but by no means is this a fix or anything, or does it make this truck mode in the back even remotely okay. It's just something that I think is funny, and I would probably rather keep it in like this, but I'm not storing this in truck mode, I'm not displaying it in truck mode, so yeah, it looks great in the front, it just looks so bad in the back. That's really all I have to say about Studio Series 102 Optimus Prime. I was so excited for this figure's release, and it just disappointed me. The posability and the truck mode are just too big of issues for me to overlook to enjoy this figure fully. Do I recommend this figure for everyone? Yes. Most people probably won't have a problem with the posability, and it is an amazing looking Optimus Prime in robot mode and from the front of truck mode. It's so hard to overlook how good this figure looks. It almost saves it in my eyes, but again, I can't get over those problems. So, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.